I'm gonna show you what it looks like from underneath because I'm laying on the ground looking up. Welcome back to Christina's Garage, Gearhead in Training. Today we are changing the motor mounts on my 2006 Chevy Silverado 2500 heavy duty. We changed the body mounts, and because of the height difference, it seems like it shifted where the body is, and now we notice that the motor mount, at least on the right side of the engine, needs to be replaced, so we're gonna replace both of them today.
Hold the brake.
So you're in reverse?
These are just little clips.
Oh, okay, so you just use pliers to get these out.
Yeah, so these are little specialty things. You kind of wedge them if you need to, right? You get in here and you can just kind of wedge up. But these, once we get this out, I should be able to show you easier. Kind of hold things together between the top half and the lower half of the fan trap.
Okay. Oh, that was pretty. You're able to pull things out so quickly.
So it's just right here.
The clips?
It goes down into these holes.
Okay, so those are the clips.
Pins, and then these screws just hold everything in.
Okay. That's so cool.
And then that's your fan.
Because the fan is attached to the engine.
And now, you can see better. Right here on the bottom, that's where this fan is rubbing and making that noise. Right there.
You can see right where it is too, because of where the dust
on your fan.
Okay.
From where it's been touching and making that noise.
Okay.
Right, just a little bit.
Just minor, so that's why it's good.
So when we do the motor mounts, it's going to lift it and recenter it in this position.
Okay.
We now got a bunch of access room to get in here.
We hit a little snag. We're able to get the inner plastic fender things off. We're able to take the wheel off, take the plastic inner fenders out, and then started pulling those bolts that were holding the body mounts on, and 2 of the bolts snapped. We're gonna need to call around to see if we're able to get 2 more brackets, because the body mount goes into a bracket that attaches to the frame, and the bolt got stuck and broke on both sides, going from the body mount, attaching it to the frame. Now we're gonna just have to call around to see if anybody has them. If they do have them today, we can continue the project. If not, we're gonna have to postpone it. We went to the Chevy dealer. They didn't have anything in stock. Luckily, they're gonna have it in tomorrow by 8 a.m. This is the motor mount, this part right here. This was the first bolt that ended up breaking off, and then we were attempting to remove these fully, these other 2, between the motor mount and the motor mount bracket. On this side, all 3 ended up breaking off. And then underneath, Jeff was able to remove the bolt that goes between the motor mount and the engine. So there's that one, and then there's one up here as well. And then this is the bracket here. And there's 2 bolts. These ones, he loosened up to make sure that they're able to come out, because tomorrow we're going to be removing the motor mount and the motor mount bracket. We want to reuse these, and then we ordered 6 new bolts that go in here. We're going to be reusing, it's under there. We're going to be using the bolt that goes in there, and then, I don't know if we'll be able to get you an angle, but the other one is up here. Once I pull them out, I'll be able to show you. We used the jack to lift up the engine, and this is the passenger side. This one was super, super wobbly in comparison to the other one, which was more stiff. So this is definitely the one that went out. We will be replacing both sides for both the motor mount and the motor mount bracket. We're back for day 2 on replacing the motor mount and motor mount bracket. We had ordered the motor mount brackets and the 6 bolts from Chevy yesterday. It got in today, so I picked those up, and we are gonna finish it up right now. All right, we pulled out the driver's side. Well, Jeff technically pulled out the driver's side. This is the motor mount. This is the new one. Got the new ones from Napa, and this one is the one that's still good. Well, it's better than the other one. There's like a cushion in there. It still looks pretty cracked and worn, really rusted. And this is the motor mount bracket. You can see the bottom of this one. These are the ones that broke. You can see all three of them did. It's probably because of the rust buildup that's on the back. Some people can drill them out to reuse them. I just decided to buy a brand new one, might as well, since I'm really gonna try to use this truck as long as I possibly can. And we got the 6 new bolts, so 3 of them in each of these. And once we pull out the other side, I'm gonna definitely wanna look at the motor mount, because that's the side that we know is definitely super loosey-goosey. 2 more bolts up here that I'm gonna remove. Jeff already helped me by loosening them. And then this is the motor mount, and the motor mount bracket is down here. So I'm gonna remove this one first, and then this one. Now I can get to the motor mount bracket. These are the 2 long bolts I'm gonna take out now. These are the broken off bolts, so we don't have to worry about these. Just gonna pull these out and this whole thing will come out. This is the new one. I just placed it right on top. So the bolt goes through there and then it attaches to this, and this is welded in. So you don't need a nut. This is a welded in nut. So we just are gonna attach these in and then put in the new motor mount on top of this new motor mount bracket. I'm gonna show you what it looks like from underneath, because I'm laying on the ground looking up. So I was in here getting the bolts from underneath because I have more of an angle to be able to ratchet it down. One thing to note, Jeff had me put these in, not completely. They have a little bit of give. We haven't, you see there's some room here. We wanna be able to put the motor mount on top and then get that completely settled on the motor before completely torquing everything down. The other side isn't completely torqued down either, because the engine is still up. The motor, the engine, whatever you want to call it, is still up on the jack. We want to have it completely settled before we completely torque everything down. So we got the motor mount and the motor mount bracket. So you see these 3 holes and these 3 holes. These will line up as soon as we lower the jack stand, or yeah, the jack, once we lower it. And then we're gonna put those 3 bolts in on each side, and then we're gonna torque everything down. Right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Cool. And then hopefully
yeah, it's already kind of sitting on it. Is that too much?
As long as we can start these 3 bolts, that's fine.
These are the new bolts. We just put those in and tighten them just enough. They're not completely torqued down because the jack is still up, just slightly. Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying seeing it all in there. It's all brand new, it's so pretty. All right, now we're gonna put the jack down, let it set a little bit, and then I think we're gonna tighten everything at that point. Like these are already tightened down, but now we're gonna tighten these. So this fan had been rubbing. You see these little black, these black little edges right here. This was rubbing on this part. What is that thing called?
Down on the bottom, the fan shroud.
The fan what?
Shroud.
Fan shroud. It was rubbing on that because the body lifted up a little bit with the new body mounts, and then by adding the motor mounts, then it lifted it just enough so now it doesn't rub anymore. Sweet. Last little bit is going to be getting the inner fenders back in, and then putting the wheels back on, and the top of the fan thing, and just like all of the finishing touches, and we'll be done. All right, I'm gonna do the, would you call it power brake test?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the power brake test because last time where the engine was doing this, Jeff was gonna check it out. So I get to actually do the test myself this time. Yay, we are all done. And I'm so grateful for Jeff. He's putting his stuff away right now. I wouldn't have been able to do this without him. I also feel kind of badass, like I'm covered in like dirt and everything, like being able to do more of this stuff. Like obviously I'm not doing it by myself. still being able to get hands-on is such a cool feeling. If you haven't tried it, you totally should. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you want to support me, want to follow along, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next week.